Today's learning is dedicated by Nechama Cox, the Refuah Shlema, for Mordechai Velvo ben Esther Fega. To dedicate a date of learning, please send me an email.
Okay, we're now on Kilayim Perek Bet Mishnah Gimel, the third Mishnah and the second chapter of Kilayim. So let's say you had planted a field. It says the Mishnah, you planted wheat, but you decided, once I planted it, now I want to plant barley. So what can you do? Can you plant? Because if I plant now barley, then I'm going to be planting barley in a field of wheat, and that's Kilayim, that's prohibited. Says the Mishnah, Yamtin la ad tatliya. You should wait until tatliya is from, the tatliya means to rot, i.e. until the seeds rot in the ground. V'yofach, and then you have to turn over the ground. V'achar kach yizra, and then you can plant the second crop. Okay, so tatliya means until the seed rots in the ground, i.e. until the seed becomes rotten and then the inside of the seed can come out. Another explanation, the Kahati says, tatliya means until, like when you put a seed in the ground, then little sprouts start to sprout out of it, like tolaim, like bugs, that are creeping, crawling bugs. So you have to wait a few days, and the shiur here, we said, is 3 days in karka yevesha. Okay, 3 days in wet ground, and if it's dry ground, then you have to wait more than 3 days. So you wait 3 days, then yofach, then you overturn the ground, and then you can plant. Okay, so the Kahati notes, actually in the notes, that in the Tosefta, there's a different version. The Tosefta says it's either Achi Yofach or Tatliya. So you have one or the other. And if you think about it, it makes a little bit more sense, because if you wait Achi Tatliya, you have to wait 3 days, eventually the wheat is going to grow. And if you think about it, if you have wheat seeds and then you uproot and you overturn the ground, so the field, I wonder, does that uproot? There's still going to be a lot of seeds that are going to grow. So at least if you say it's either or, the Kahati says that what the Tosefta is saying is that if you are Yahafoch, when you're Hofech, what you're showing is that I don't want the first crop. Because remember we said that the prohibition, we've said this before, the prohibition of seeding, of planting Kilayim, is when you're planting two things that you want in the same time. But if you demonstrably, it's not a word. If you demonstrate that you don't want the original crop by uprooting the ground, then you can plant another crop, even though you know that some of the original chitim are going to eventually sprout. Says the Mishnah, we're going to continue. If you didn't wait that long, if it's too late, im tzimcha, if the ground is already grown, if the original wheat have begun to grow, they began to sprout. Lo yamar ezra v'achar kach ofach. So listen, I have to turn it over anyway. So why don't I just put the seeds of the barley seeds down, and then I'm going to plow. I'm going to turn over the field, and then I'll accomplish two birds with one stone. Ella hofech v'achar kach zoria. Rather, you have to turn it over and then you plant. Okay, that's the requirement. First, you have to turn it over, and only then can you plant. Kama yehei choresh. So how much do you have to, when you overturn the ground, when you turn over the ground, how much do you have to plow? The Mishnah says, ketalmea revia. Revia is the rains. After they had the original rains, then they would plow a certain amount. I don't really know, but apparently after the rains, they would make very deep, a deep cut and a wide plow. Okay, that's the talmea revia. The Kahati quotes the Rambam, who says, it's tzlamim she'osim kodem hageshem. It's the amount that you would do before the Reviyah. Remember, there were different Reviyot. We've learned in previous Mishnayot. Reviyah Rishonah, Reviyah Shniyah, different dates when the rain came. So the Rambam says it's before the rain came, and they would plow a certain amount. So I guess in the Mishnah's time, they knew exactly how much they would plow, and that's the amount you would have to plow, these deep, wide plowings, in order to demonstrate clearly that you no longer wanted the original wheat crop, but now you wanted the barley crop. But I think the idea is also, if it's the Talmei Reviyah, it's the first plowing. Meaning you're not just doing a symbolic plowing in order to say, plow a little bit to make sure that it's no longer, so that everybody sees it's Marit Ayin. No, you do Talmei Reviyah, you do the plowing of the rains, the original plowing. You have to start over, basically. So in order to make sure that you're not planting Kilayim. Abba Shaul says, Kedei shelo yeshayer rova lebeit sa'ah. Remember, we learned in the last Mishnah, at least 2 Mishnayot ago, that a rova in Beit Sa'ah, rova hakav, is 1/24th of a Beit Sa'ah, the amount of field it would take to plant a Sa'ah, which is 2,500 square amot. So the amount would be, Kedei shelo yishayer rova lebeit Sa'ah, you can't have any, you have to plow enough that there's no area of a rova hakav, 1/24 of the area is not plowed. So you don't have to plow every single thing according to Abba Shaul, just the vast majority of the field. And you can leave 1/24 of it unplowed. The halacha is not like Abba Shaul. Rather, you have to plow up the entire field. I personally am a little bit surprised by the Mishnah. I would have thought the Chazal would say, since I know that the So'orim, the original chita, the wheat that you planted is going to grow, I would have thought the Chazal would have said, sorry, too late. But they didn't. If a person wanted to change his crop, they made a mechanism that allowed a person to change his crop. Okay, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free. As always, artspolter@gmail.com. Okay, share this, please. Share this program. The more we share, the more people will learn. And we'll dedicate this learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.